Okay, voila. Get rid of all these damn things. Okay. So for those of you who might be wondering what the heck I was doing, so in the continuing effort of consolidating everything, the Zoom account is now part of Sala Dāna website or email, and so is YouTube, that channel. So that took me a minute to figure that out, but I think it worked. Yay. Yay. I like it when things work. Let's see where my bell is. Hello, Julieta. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, and you? Hello.
I'm good, yeah. Good to see you. You look good.
Thank you.
You don't look like you have COVID.
Well, actually, I did have COVID.
But you recovered.
Yeah. I'm much better now.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. I still haven't gotten it. I don't know why, but I feel like someday.
Good. You don't want it, really.
I know, I don't want it, and yet I feel left out.
No, don't. I think it's the best.
Yeah, good for you.
In fact, I was going to go visit the development person for Plum Village, and her whole family's got it. So now my plans are somewhat altered, which is minor compared to what they're having to go through. Hello, Ricardo and Robert. Oh, I'm glad you made it, Robert. It was so funny. I remembered you had sent something, and I finally go, God, I wonder if he did. And I looked, and there were those great pictures.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, your message.
Thank you for sending those.
Yeah,
nice. So this is the debut launch of Zoom and YouTube from the Sala Dāna account, which doesn't look any different than before. However, it will now be accessible for anybody who might want to stream in and out of Sala Dāna without, my presence. Maybe we'll wait a moment or two. Got a couple bare zabutons there.
They might remain bare. I just set out like 8 of them because I saw 8 people signed up, but some of them are online, so maybe some zabutons will stay empty.
Okay. That is fine.
There's still someone in the bathroom.
So Nacho, were you at the celebration on Friday?
Yeah. It was like such a nightmare to organize, and especially the technical part.
Oh.
At the end, everything was very fine, very beautiful. It was very emotional. Yeah, it was really moving. Everything went out amazingly well. We are very happy with the celebration.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was so kind of wishing, though, that maybe you would have had one camera facing the sala, because nobody online could see the full room. But did they want it that way, or was it just?
That's something that we asked them. We also asked them the YouTube, but they decided to do the other way around. So since we were just giving our support to Sangha, we respected their wishes, and that was it. Yeah.
Can you hear Nacho? Or? Okay.
Well, kind of, except it wasn't so much the YouTube thing, but having the two cameras
Yeah. I know. We asked them. We told them we could put it over there, but they decided to do it the other way. And,
Oh, I see. Which was beautiful. Seeing the teachers, the way they were, the leaders, I thought was beautiful. But
they wanted to do many things technically, so they were afraid that doing that they might have some problem. We explained to them that there will be no problem because it will be an international connection, but we didn't want to insist. We understand that here is free, and at the end everything was amazing. Everything went out very well, and we are very happy with it. And I agree with you. It would have been better doing that and doing live on YouTube. But well, that's how things came out, and they came out perfectly. So yeah, very happy about it.
yeah, well, thank you for doing that. Yeah, it was very nice.
The question,
Okay.
the flip chart, 7 factors of awakening, or do you want something else on it?
Are those up or? Yeah, we're gonna. I mean, for those, yeah, because we have maybe a couple people. Do you mind put that up?
Yeah, 7 factors of awakening is up.
Oh, it's up. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay, so I'll just give a brief little introduction of what we're going to do for those of you who maybe don't come especially very often. So we're going to meditate for about 32 minutes or so. And we have been studying and practicing the 7 factors of awakening, which for those of you in the room, you can see them. For those of you online, probably all of you are familiar with them. So the 6th factor is samadhi, which can be translated as concentration, as stability of mind, as unification of mind, stillness. So it has many different English and Spanish translations. I think the one that I kind of like the best is a stability of mind, or stability of attention. Maybe that's a better way to put it. Stability of attention, where we're able to kind of pay attention to something like the breath for a while with stability, without effort. And during this last week, I've been reading this other book that I have mentioned called Mind Illuminated. And he offers a 4-step meditation that I thought I would offer to you, because we've done it kind of a similar way before, but I'll just explain it real quickly now. So we start off with, once we have a good, stable, comfortable, erect posture, we start off with a relaxed awareness about lo que sea, whatever arises. Sounds, sensations, the breath. We're not pushing anything away. We're very open. And then we gradually move to the whole body, which is usually where we start. So there's one step before where we normally start. So it's anything in the room, to the body. Then we start to notice the sensations of the breath. And then we end up at the breath at the nose. So I'm going to kind of lead it that way. We're not going to use the Anapanasati teachings of long breath, short breath, and so forth. We'll try this other way. And just to see how it is, right? It's just an experiment. It's just, he's got some suggestions in this book that I've tried, and I'm like, nah. And then he's got others that I'm kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. So we'll try this one. Any preguntas, questions, doubts? Okay, put on our timer. Welcome, Lara, just in time. Okay, I'm going to mute you guys that are. Hi there, Lara. Welcome. Okay, so find your comfortable posture. In this book, he actually has 7 steps of preparation. Thought that was a little too much to start with. But probably a way to summarize them is an intention, a mental conscious intention about what you plan on doing over these next 30 minutes. And maybe even an intention to let the distractions wait. Let the distractions come later. And then also to find this comfortable posture. Make sure your posture is not only comfortable, but noble. A noble posture. The back straight, back of the neck open, eyes closed, unless that is very uncomfortable for you, and then you can keep them open ever so slightly with a gaze downward. Maybe your hands are in your lap, or it could be on your knees. Like those statues of the Buddha, right? Very still, very serene, very noble, very relaxed. So now for this first step, just be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of whatever arises into your field of awareness. Sounds, sound of my voice, sensations in the body, thoughts even. Maybe if you're in the Sala, you have a sense of the others' presence, their presence near you. We have a very open, aware, receptive attention. Now, if we have to choose between one thing or another, we choose the sensations, the felt sense of our experience. So what does it feel like to be sitting here with our posture? So we start to divert or move our attention, what we pay attention to the sensations of the body. And at the same time, our peripheral awareness is still active. We are aware of the room. We are aware of sounds. We are aware of people near us, but we're not focusing on them, but we're still aware. Our attention moves to the sensations in the body. So maybe there's sensations of tickling, cosquilleos, hormigueos. There could be sensations in the points of contact, pressure, heat, weight. There might be flujos, corrientes de energy flowing through the body. And there might be nothing, just a sense of emptiness. Feeling, experiencing the sensations in the body, while at the same time aware of our surroundings, allowing that to be in the background, but still in our field of awareness. Pushing away nothing, blocking out nothing. So now we start to notice the sensations caused by the breath. So this might look like movement in the body, movement in the belly, the chest, or the whole body moving with the breath. The expansion and contraction of the diaphragm. You might notice the rhythm of the breath. Subtle movement. And so the movement or the sensations of the breath are now front and center. We're attending to that. We're paying attention to that. And still there is peripheral awareness. So in the background, in the segundo plano, we know sensations of the body, we know sounds. We're aware of our surroundings. But now we're attending to the sensations of breathing. And now we bring the attention to the nostrils. We attend to the breath at the nostrils, maybe at the tip of the nostrils where the air goes in and out, or if it's easier, in the fosses nasales, the canals, the inner nostrils. And again, keeping the peripheral awareness present. So we're not pushing anything away. We're still aware of our body, still aware of our surroundings. But that's in the background. Now, if you find the tip of the nose causes too much stress or tires you out, you can always go back a step and go back to the sensations of the breath in the whole body. But hopefully by keeping an open awareness, keeping the peripheral awareness present, attending to the breath at the nostrils, shouldn't create too much stress. with this method, this approach, thoughts might even be in the background. We don't push them away. We don't even really let them go. We just keep attending to the breath at the nostrils, paying no mind to the thoughts or to the other phenomena that might arise, just coming back and attending to the breath at the nostrils. pushing away nothing, including everything, and paying attention to the sensations of the breath at the nostrils. And now for a fifth and bonus step. If your mind is quieter, stiller than it was, start to become aware of the stillness of the mind. Notice the calm that might be present in the mind, the quiet. All the while aware of the breath, paying attention to the breath, and at the same time becoming aware of the stillness in the mind. Very good. Thank you for participating in that. And in our final moments, why don't we come back to the body with our attention, letting go of the breath. Re-ground ourselves into the body, feeling the body, filling it with attention. And then bringing your attention to your heart space, to your chest area, for a quick little metta, goodwill, loving kindness practice, thanking ourselves for our practice, the goodness of our practice, the fact that we took time out on this Sunday to take care of ourselves in this way. I mean, this is so huge, difficult, even in the best of times. But we did it. Thanking yourself and then thanking those around you. And if you're on Zoom or watching on YouTube, all who participated. And then imagining that you can extend out this gratitude, this goodwill, this appreciation, sending it out in all directions, touching all life. So maybe noticing how that feels to just whoosh, be appreciative of all things. And when you hear the sound of the bell, which I'm going to try to ring it back here to see if it'll last longer, just notice what comes up in the mind, in the body. Well, thank you all very much for your practice, supporting my practice, supporting each other's practice. I can see in the hall, people are stretching their legs. Very good idea. I think everybody kept pretty still for the whole 32 minutes. That was quite impressive. So I have a few questions, or I'm curious as to people's experience. But first, I'm going to ask a more basic question. So if I ring the bell, I'm going to do it again. Do you hear it just for a moment, or do you hear it until it dies down? Just a moment?
It fades away very quickly. Jim, there's a setting in Zoom for like authentic audio or something like that. I don't remember the exact name. So you might have to play around with that.
Okay. Because somebody was saying...
Original sound.
Original sound?
Yeah.
I think it was Martina that was saying that Zoom thinks that these bells are noise, and that need to be cut off.
Yeah.
But it was funny on Friday, they were ringing that big bell.
Yeah.
And sometimes for those of us on Zoom, it was quick. And then at other times, we could hear it for a while. It was kind of interesting.
You might have to find original sound and set it to on, and that might limit the background filters, sound filters.
I'm just looking right now. I don't see anything that says original sound. suppress background noise. Okay, here I'm going to try. Let's just see if I.
Yeah, that worked.
Yay! I love it when things work. Oh, okay, so I got that was set to low. But but maybe as a result, if the people are taking out the garbage, which part of my little talk tonight is going to be about my relationship with this garbage patio, which is right next to my bedroom, which is right where I'm in now. Maybe I'll just deviate to that for right now. As some of you probably know, the Buddha is known to have challenged his students by making them go into the forests and meditate where there were tigers and snakes and scorpions and this tradition is still being practiced. And I know one of the more famous teachers in the Thai forest tradition, Ajahn Chah, I believe he would just go into the forests of Thailand and just meditate, with all the elements, right? And the Buddha was also known to send people out to the charnel grounds, right? Charnel? As I say it, it doesn't sound quite right. Charnel. Well, anyways, I will describe it because I might not be saying the word right. But it's where all the dead bodies are in India, right? Where they just throw them on these heaps and then they disintegrate just into bones, right? So they'll just be just piles of bones. And so monks and maybe nuns too, I guess, would go there and meditate, to get over their fear of death and to let go or to understand not self and the impermanence of all things, right? Because the bodies obviously would deteriorate and become just dust eventually. Charnel. It's funny how I'm blanking a little bit on that word exactly. But so the reason I'm sort of laughing is so for me, right? I'm in this apartment in Paris that I rented because it was the only Spanish speaking. The guy actually speaks 5 languages, including Spanish, which was nice. Manager that I could find, right? So I ended up in this apartment, ground floor, or just above the ground, first floor, and it is noisy. And since the stores have opened up, smelly, and with this garbage patio, sometimes really smelly and really noisy, And so to me, it's my charnel ground. I got to get that word right. Give me 1 second. I don't like it when I don't know a word. Let's see. Charnel grounds. Am I doing it right? Charnel. Yeah, I guess. Okay. Because for me, I'm very sensitive to sound and I'm very sensitive to smells. So I get to practice with these every day, right? And I do. I sit in here a couple hours a day and I burn incense to try to cover up the smell, but sometimes it's just. And then, and let's see if you guys could see. You see right there, there's like a vent. Right, you see it in the wall. So, just recently, while I was last gone, a deli moved in downstairs. Which the good part is the construction noise is over, but the bad news is they use a hell of a lot of water, and I think that's where their bomba is, the pump or the grifo or something. Because man, it's like, so I'll be sitting here meditating, and then suddenly there's this sound of water that's just like a meter from my head, right? But then what's interesting is when they turn it off and then there's silence again. And this reminded me of our meditation. right? Especially when I added that fifth step, which isn't from this book. This is going back to the teachings out of Joseph Goldstein's book. But just noticing our mind when it's quiet, and kind of, paying attention to the quiet, right? And that attention to the quiet perpetrates or creates more quiet. And you can really get into this, it's not quite a feedback loop, but you can get into this nice bit of momentum if you can just get some quiet going, some stillness, and then you pay attention to that. For some reason, that will kind of keep the thoughts at bay, keep the thoughts, in the peripheral awareness, in the background, segundo plano. And it can be so pleasant. I mean, very similar to the loud water, and then, and then it just stays like that for a while, And that's this water pump, or whatever it is. Maybe it's just a grifo, but it can be so loud. Reminds me of my mind sometimes. My mind is just grinding away, thinking about stuff, and it's just a bunch of noise. The default mode, as we've talked about, just screechy, scratchy, really kind of irritating noise. But then when it stops, it's so nice. And it's so nice that we can retrain the mind, or we can develop. This is the hope here. And for those of you who are younger than me, and I see a couple that might be kind of close to my age, but the most of you are younger, you've got lots of time. You've got many years, right? Just keep practicing. And that those neural pathways of calm, of quiet, of paying attention or being aware of your awareness, but not thinking, right? Not just doing this default, will become easier and easier. Just becomes easier and easier the more we do it. And that's what this book, Mind Illuminated, it really is about. It's about, it's a training book about training the mind. One of the things I do like, it's the first book that I've read that's so clearly distinguished between attention and awareness. Okay, attention and consciencia, that those are two different things. The awareness is constantly going, constantly happening, whether we like it or not, right? It just is. And we can develop being aware of awareness. We could develop that sense of what we are aware of. And then there's the attention, which is what we focus on things, right? And this is the one that gets pulled away, right? We're focusing on the breath, and then it gets pulled away. Now, I found this also very helpful, is he says that the pulling away is decided by our unconscious. Okay, we have no control over that. We have no control over when our mind is going to get, or when our attention is going to get pulled away. This is the unconscious deciding. So I'm going to explain a little bit more because I find this really fascinating. So the unconscious, it's almost like the unconscious is thinking, okay, we've paid attention to this long enough, right? We have followed the breath now for 30 seconds. That's long enough. We need to pay attention to something else. It will decide, okay? Now, if, for instance, you're tendencies, your habits of mind in the unconscious mind are one of hypervigilance, right? Let's say you grew up in a very kind of violent environment or a lot of threats and risks and stuff. You're going to learn, the mind is going to learn to be hypervigilant and to pay attention to a lot of things at the same time. And, be looking at this, looking at that, da-da-da-da. This is going to affect the unconscious. The unconscious is going to have that habit. And so then when you get on the cushion and you try to pay attention to something, we're not going to be able to pay attention to it very long because the unconscious is habituated to pay attention to a lot of different things for fear of threat. So it's going to pull it away very quickly, very often. Okay? Not your fault. It's just how the unconscious was conditioned. Now, the good thing is we can retrain the unconscious mind. Okay? So the more the unconscious starts to learn that there is no threat, that we're safe, then it's going to let go of that hypervigilance, poco a poco, but it's going to over time. And so then we're going to be able to stay with something longer. Now, if we sit and we're like, we're really pushing ourselves or beating up on ourselves or criticizing ourselves because we don't stay with the mind, well, then we're not going to retrain the unconscious in that way, right? It's going to still be on hypervigilance. And the threat is going to be us, right? Criticizing it or whatever. So we don't want to do that. And that's why I really found this guy's suggestion to, we pay attention to the breath at the nose, to the sensations, but we don't push anything away. We are still aware peripherally what's around us, the sensations in the body, even the thoughts. We're not pushing those away. No fighting, no struggling. Just pay attention to the breath. And we keep coming back to the breath. But at the same time, the peripheral awareness remains. And this awareness, which again is present at all times, but when we're aware of it, it's almost like a holding, right? It's a big abrazo or something. It's like holding us in safety. And if something comes up, maybe an emotion or a feeling or, a sensation, even some pain or whatever, it's coming up into this field of awareness that we are aware of. So it's kind of holding it. And I have found that really kind of helps with relaxation. It's even relaxing just to be aware of your awareness, to just sit and be aware receptively what's out there. That alone can be very relaxing. So I've said quite a bit. Is there anybody who would like to add, or how was the instructions and how was the meditation for you? Anybody? Julieta, I saw you come closer to the I don't know if you had something to add or say. No? I mean, it's a little bit different than what we normally do, but how about you, Carlos? Did you feel more concentrated and relaxed with that progression or not? I mean, there's no right answer, whatever is real.
I felt concentrated and relaxed. I wouldn't know if it's more than the other way. So it helps, I think, yeah.
I just would like to say, for me, same as Carlos, I wouldn't know if it was more on or less. It depends really on the day, but I do like that in the last Sundays we are experiencing different approaches to meditation. It's really appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Hopefully you guys don't think you're my guinea pigs though. That I learned something new and then I try it out on you guys.
Jim, you were saying about your apartment and the challenges of distractions and things that are going on there, which to be honest sounds awful to me.
And I was
But
almost a little embarrassed to even admit it.
I had been going to ask you before actually about whether there's, and you mentioned about meditating in the forest and sort of with the discomfort that might come with that. Because a few times I've meditated in a deliberately cold environment. So like, sometimes I'm actually really hot today and I was a bit sleepy because I got a fire, a log fire going. So it's quite warm in here and I felt sleepy in the meditation, which wasn't great. But sometimes I've meditated and it's actually cold and I've just, instead of wrapping up, I just sort of observed what that cold felt like, Quite good, actually. It was quite a good experience. I just wonder whether there was any, I was going to ask you today whether there was any sort of, I don't know, practice around that, but clearly there is, because you happened to mention about the forest meditation and all those other things.
Yeah, well, I understand there's this guy, Wim something or other.
Wim Hof.
Yeah, who's really into cold.
Yeah, I know. Immersion and yeah, really, yeah, he's obsessed with.
I mean, what's interesting about our attention and awareness is even with excruciating pain, I mean, something that really hurts, we can put our attention into it and really explore it and examine it up close. And for whatever reason, it will actually lose a lot of its painfulness. Now, it won't last forever, just for that moment, but it kind of like breaks it up or something. And, the Chinese have this concept of qi, the Indians have this concept of prana. Maybe it's just white blood cells. I have no idea, but there's like a little saying that where attention goes, energy flows. And so when we put our attention, something seems to happen. It's like when we're cold, we can almost make ourselves warm. I find it a little harder the other way. If you're warm, it's hard to make yourself cold. But if you're cold, you can almost make your body parts warm with your attention. You can definitely relax our body parts with our attention. Just feel them, and then we can intentionally relax just in a small area of the body. It's almost sort of magical. I don't know. And Laura has to go. And I've said this many times, but I'll say it again just because I think it's so interesting. Buddhism, if you want to call it a religion or a philosophy or a psychology or a science or whatever it is, it almost seems like its main emphasis is on developing the mind's ability to attend to something, to concentrate. I don't really like that word so much because I think of concentrating in the Western sense where we got to, really bear down, and that's not what is being offered here. But it's developing a strength of mind, really, a mental muscle. And with this, we can see things more clearly. We can understand the reality of life more easily. Now, this isn't to also not give credit to the ethical part of Buddhism, which is hugely important, and the compassionate part these are also just as important, right? I sometimes remember it was like the two wings of Buddhism, if you want to call it that. One is wisdom, which is where this development of the mind might fall more, and then the other is compassion. And I also believe that it is believed, and I believe it is true, a lot of believes in there, that the more concentrated we can be, or the more calm we can be, the more still our mind can be, then the easier compassion arises. Or, metta, loving kindness, goodwill, it arises. These things, it's almost like when we're locked in our thinking and we're, worrying and planning and, retaliate, whatever it is, it like forms this sort of force field where the good can't get in. But when we relax the mind and it's just still and spacious and luminous and open, which is what the Tibetans call it, then this stuff can just arise. And it just does. It just does. We don't even really have to work at it. And it's such a beautiful, simple, but not necessarily easy practice, right? And let's see. Yeah, I want to do a little walking meditation. So I'll end with this thing. On retreat, they will often, especially in the kind of Western Vipassana style retreats, they'll talk about a continuity of mindfulness. A continuity of mindfulness, where it won't really matter what the object of our attention is, as long as, we're trying to pay attention to something. Maybe the breath while we're sitting, our feet and our walking, when we do walking meditation, which we're going to do in a minute, or when we're doing dishes, paying attention to the movements of our hands, we're paying attention to what we're doing. This will create a continuity of mindfulness that can be just as good as if we're single-pointed on one thing. What I want to add, though, is even though we are not officially on retreat, right, we're living our lives, we can also do it in our normal daily lives. At any time. When you're doing the dishes, right? When you're making your bed, when you're walking to the metro. At any moment, we can come back to a mindful state where we're paying attention to whatever is present in that moment. And we let go of this default thinking, or, maybe not really let go. Don't worry about it. Just pay attention to something. And this will develop this mental muscle, if you want to call it that way, or these neural pathways or whatever, where it just becomes easier and easier. And again, I worry about using myself as an example because I'm no master. I'm just a beginner at this stuff, but I've seen the improvement, if you want to call it that. It is. It's an improvement. Like, oh my God, compared to where I was 10 years ago or 5 years ago or a year ago even, I see it getting better or easier. And so I can say with confidence, it's not just that the books, say it, I'm experiencing it. And as you know, I've been doing this 2 hours a day during COVID, which is a lot. If you went to the gym and exercised 2 hours a day, you're going to get buff, right? And I think it's the same with the meditation. 2 hours a day is a good amount. And it is making a difference. So I know it works. Whether it works at 10 minutes a day, it's like going to the gym 10 minutes a day. Maybe it'll help a little. Anyways, okay. That's the end of my pitch. I know you guys wouldn't keep coming back if you didn't know that it was helpful and helping. So why don't we just do a quick 5-minute walking meditation? Is that okay? I think everybody knows, but just in case. So we're going to pay attention now to the touching of our feet on the floor. That'll be the new object. And, just walk 2 meters, turn around 2 meters, paying attention when you're turning as well. And yeah, I'll ring the bell with the low background thingy in 5 minutes, okay? I'm going to walk too. Thank you. Were you able to hear the bell 3 times? All right. That was an easy fix. I like that. Bueno, Chema, tengo una pregunta. Llevas meditando como 3 horas cada día, ¿no? Desde su jubilado.
3 hours. Okay, 3 or 4 hours.
Wow. ¿Y ves una gran diferencia? ¿Ves una diferencia?
Many difference. Many difference. Because I can to be practice attention whole day, and I don't cansancio,
Get tired?
not tired, no, and I sleep 5 hours, 5
Wow.
hours.
Now, before, antes de este nivel de práctica, ¿duermes mucho o menos? Como 5 horas. Más.
No, before practice,
Yeah.
7 hours.
Okay. Wow.
Many years ago.
Yeah,
But with practice, with 5 hours, sufficient.
Fantastic.
And I get up 5 o'clock. I get up 5 o'clock.
Mhm.
And I think, oh, very beautiful day por delante, beautiful day.
Mhm. Fantastic. Well, so there you go. So you could do 2 like me, and I'm just average, or you could do 3 or 4 like Gemma, and you only sleep 5 hours. That's great. That's fantastic. Thank you, Gemma.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's see, we're just about at the end here. The only, and I think we'll next week. I was hoping to have a guest speaker, but I wasn't able to pull it off. So next week, though, we will move to the 7th factor, equanimity. But I do want to add just one final thing, which I probably didn't talk about as much as some people would. But that is the role of ethical conduct in this factor, this samadhi factor. And as you can imagine, probably, if we are not acting ethically in our lives, right? If we're not practicing, right speech and right action and right thought, even, if we're stealing, if we're lying, it's going to be very hard to have samadhi. It's just, they're not, they don't go well together. And there's like a translation, like it's the bliss of blamelessness, the bliss of blamelessness. And we can even use this as a portal or an entry into a calm practice. Just asking yourself, did I do any harm today? Did I, lie or steal or hurt anybody intentionally or any being? And if you didn't, and hopefully you didn't, right? We can take a little joy in that. It's like, gosh, I got through today and I didn't hurt anybody. I mean, that feels good, right? And I didn't hurt any other beings. And, sometimes we really even can kind of feel it in the body, the joy or the relief. Maybe it's relief. God, I got through the day and I didn't hurt anybody, right? It's like, it's a relief. Oof. I sometimes feel that after I ride my bicycle, especially here in Paris. I'll come back from the suburbs or whatever, and I'll come through, and I get to my apartment. I'm still alive. I made it. And you just feel good. But even better is I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't bump anybody. I didn't yell at anybody. A bliss, an alegría, or no, bliss is in Spanish a different dicha of blamelessness, sin culpable, and really, it not only is it a nice portal into a nice, concentrated, relaxed, still meditation, it's not a bad way to live too. I know there's a lot of people that, America is even worse now than ever, where they think if they can steal it, great, that's fine. If they don't get caught, no problem. Stealing is okay. But I think the heart knows different, And our precept that we follow is really not to take anything that wasn't freely given. Right? So unless somebody says, here, I really want you to have it, just let it go. Anyways, I wanted to make that one last, just bring that up because it is important as well. And it is an essential part of this practice to be kind and to be caring and to be honest and to be compassionate. This is all part of the path. It's not just we just meditate, so we can feel blissed out. No, it's how we are off the cushion as well. So yeah, next week we'll talk about equanimity and maybe I'll be there. Now I was hoping to be there, planning to be there, but now that my one appointment, she got COVID, her whole family, and then this other thing I was supposed to do, I'll know tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be there. Maybe I won't. I'll be online, but I was hoping to actually be presencial. Okay, is there anybody who would like to say anything or have any questions or comments? Denise has to go. You can just hang in there 5 more minutes, Denise. We're almost done. There's a certain satisfaction in that too, of finishing it, right? It's like, okay, I did it to the end. We'll do metta in 1 minute. Don't worry. Okay, and by the way, for those of you who are curious, I'm really happy as to how Sala Dāna is operating. Really happy about that, and I really hope that no more COVID is coming. We're going to get rid of this Omicron and yesta. Bye-bye. Adios. And then we can really start to open up the doors. And I was hoping, for a day when you could just drop in. You didn't have to apuntarte or nothing. You just could come. And maybe that will be soon. Okay, anybody want to say anything? Or I know Denise wants to go, so we'll do our metta real quick here. We good? Okay, one last, this is another one, works very well. If you have a resentment towards somebody, just send them some metta. May you be happy. Works every time. Resentment goes away. Okay, so I think all of you know this practice, but just in case, I'm going to offer some phrases. This is one of the practices where we use phrases, wishes, almost like prayers or mantras. We're going to offer them to ourselves, and then to a loved one, a benefactor, and then a difficult person, and then all beings. So I'll say the phrase out loud, and you can say it mentally. May you be happy. Actually, let's do us first. May I be happy, and you guys, but maybe to say it that way. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be safe. May I live with ease. And now we'll do the benefactor. Somebody, some being you really admire. Could be Thich Nhat Hanh, who recently left his body, and there's been celebrations going on for some number of days, celebrating his life. Could be Jesus, could be a nice aunt, uncle, whoever. Bring that being in mind. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you live with ease. And now the difficult being. Somebody where maybe there's a little resentment, a little hurt. Something happened maybe this weekend. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. May you live with ease. And then all beings in all directions without exception, may all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings live with ease. And finally, in the tradition of renunciation, letting go, offer up the fruit of our practice today for the benefit of all beings. May all beings be happy and peaceful, healthy and strong, safe and protected. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, free from war and violence, discrimination, racism, and free from coronavirus. And may all beings find their path, their practices, their goals that lead them to the end of suffering. May all beings be free. Thank you all again very much. See, my computer is telling me it might run out of battery here, so if I go away, that is why. Just a quick announcement about Dāna, which, as most of you know, is the Pali word for generosity or giving. And it is the tradition of Buddhism for 2,600 years to offer the teachings freely without charge. And that is how we do it at Sala Dāna. And honestly, I think it's working just fine. We don't need to adopt some capitalistic model to make the place run. And it feels great, you know. And I just real quickly, I met a person at a dinner the other night who is looking to do something to help the people living on the street, sin techo, right? And there was an opportunity there where I could give, and it felt so good. It's like she gave me a gift by giving me something I could give to. I mean, it just felt really great. And this was often the first teaching by the Buddha. When he met a new group, he would teach them about generosity. So this is what we're doing. I like it. Chema, I think you were doing it long before you met me, so I know you like it. Nacho. And so, yeah, we will continue to do it. And those of you who want to practice, because it's a practice, really, it's a cultivation, it's a bhavana, really, where we learn to do it, and then we go, oh man, this feels good, and then we want to do it more. And one way is all sorts of things you could do at Sala Dāna. Help us out, keep it clean, keep it organized, keep it stocked with this or that. If you want to do some stuff offline, like in the computer, we've had Lindsay helping us with the website. Very much appreciated. I would love if we had a bookkeeper, because right now I'm the bookkeeper, and there's a lot of little entries to do. Anyways, you could help that way, and you could also help with the financial donations, because these really do help us pay our bills and maybe even expand into some new things. Maybe do a retreat. So we have BISM and Transferencia. Both those can be found either on the board there in the hall or on the website under Donativo. For those of you presencial, you could also make a contribution in the box. And as I said last week, as we get more and more attuned with our bodies and our feelings and our emotions, it's like, feel it. Does this feel generous? Am I practicing generosity? Or am I practicing tecañoso or whatever? I don't think it's a word, but am I practicing something else? And in part, it's just a good practice to really get to know yourself too. How does this feel? So I make that little push, and
Jim, I have
really, please.
So I've been sending you emails and stuff, but I couldn't really reply them at the end because of COVID and everything. As I told you before, I am training to be a yoga teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering if I could use Sala Dāna to practice, not to teach, but with my group, if that's possible, and they would donate some money to Sala Dāna. I just wanted to ask if what do you think about that idea? Do you think it's a little bit, I don't know, weird? I don't know.
Well, so we have a kind of a process, and so you could make a proposal. Nacho would be part of the initial reviewing, and then we have a junta, which I think is a crack up of a word, but we have a junta that in the end would make that decision as to whether to add another class or whatever. But if you wanted to maybe just do a practice session once or twice, talk to Nacho, and if it can comfortably fit in there, we might be able to figure something out.
Okay, but it won't be like a practice, because I was thinking about it, and I think it would be very unfair to give lessons at this stage, because personally, I do have to practice a lot, because I need to practice a lot, and I think it would be unfair to be delivering classes if they're not that good.
Yeah. Why don't we can talk about it offline, so we don't have but yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit more. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And then I guess this lastly, sometimes, maybe, I don't know, Carlos sometimes goes out for dinner afterwards, and hopefully that continues. And yeah, like I said, I hope to be presential next week, but it is a possibility. I'll know tomorrow, hopefully. Anyways, but so good to see you guys. Thank you all for coming. As always, have a very good week.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye. Have a nice week.
One more booklet of the ones that Alex put in the WhatsApp.
Thank you, Jim.
I haven't seen that. What is What is it?
Very quick, Alex put some stuff that he's leaving.
Oh, right. Yeah, that is true. There is some furniture. If anybody's needing like a dresser, yeah, there's one of our members, our board members, is giving it away. So, so you put something on the board. Is that it, Nacho? There's pictures or something?
No, I mean, maybe we should take one of the bookshelves that he was offering because we are running out of space for books in the bookshelf. So maybe having 2 bookshelves would be good for us. That's what I was asking.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, we could talk about a little bit more maybe tomorrow, or when I get there. I'll be there soon. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Adios.